Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. I gotta tell you, I am absolutely thrilled you're tuning in today, because we're gonna be diving into some of the most, awe-inspiring creatures on the entire planet. I actually like to think of them as the absolute sovereigns of the air, reigning over what we can really only call the Empire of Eagles. In this fast-paced explainer, we're gonna unpack the hard, fast facts about these global apex predators. So, just looking at this breakdown of their biological superpowers really puts things into perspective. Humanity looked at these birds and practically universally decided, yep, that right there, that should symbolize our empires. And when you take a second to look at the sheer geographical diversity, the lethal anatomy, and the high-altitude mastery we're talking about, it's pretty easy to see why. All right, here's our game plan for today. We'll hit Arsenal of the Apex, Masters of the Hunt, Rulers of the World, Building the Dynasty, and then we're going to wrap up with some frequently asked Eagle questions. Stick around for that last part, because we'll be answering some of the most fascinating questions about these guys at the end. Okay, Section 1, Arsenal of the Apex. Let's start by unpacking the biological weapons that make eagles the undisputed rulers of the sky. To truly grasp their dominance, let's compare our human traits to theirs for a second. You know how we consider 20/20 vision to be, perfect? Well, eagles boast 24, sometimes even 25 visual acuity. That means their eyesight is literally 4 to 5 times sharper than ours. They have this incredible panoramic vision that can actually detect ultraviolet light. I mean, they can spot a rabbit from 2 miles away. Plus, while you and I have just 7 neck vertebrae, eagles have 14. That lets them rotate their heads nearly 270 degrees. And the stats just get wilder from there. 35,000 feet. That is the maximum altitude eagles have been recorded flying at. Think about that for a second. These animals are up there sharing airspace with commercial jetliners. They use thermal updrafts and these broad, slotted wings to just effortlessly soar to those unbelievable heights, saving energy while they scan their massive territories. Moving right along to Section 2, Masters of the Hunt. Now that we know what they're working with, let's see how they put it to use. Speed. Speed is absolutely crucial here. When an eagle spots prey from those crazy heights we just talked about, they execute this rapid diving attack called a stoop. During a high-speed dive, a golden eagle can hit a blistering 320 kilometers per hour. That's about 200 miles per hour, making them, without a doubt, one of the fastest animals on planet Earth. But here's the thing. That speed, it's really just the delivery mechanism for their true weapons. They are armed with 5-inch talons on zygodactyl feet, which just means 3 toes point forward and 1 points back, giving them totally unparalleled grip strength. To put that in perspective, the harpy eagle's talons are the exact same length as a grizzly bear's claws. They can easily lift a third of their body weight. Actually, a bald eagle holds the record for lifting a 6.8-kilogram fawn. And get this, once they finally eat, their stomach acid sits at a pH of about 1. That's practically battery acid, perfectly designed to literally dissolve bone, fur, and feathers. All right, Section 3, Rulers of the World. With over 60 different species found on every single continent except Antarctica, let's take a look at the provinces of this empire. Now, what's super interesting here is the visual comparison of the only 2 species native to the Americas. On the left, we've got the iconic bald eagle, which loves sticking near large bodies of water and heavily relies on fish. On the right, that's the golden eagle. They're a bird of the open country and mountains, acting as this preeminent predator of medium-sized mammals. Think rabbits, foxes, even young deer. They have vastly different temperaments, too. The golden eagle is known for being much, much more aggressive. But when we look at their current global status, it's kind of a mixed bag. The bald eagle is an absolute massive conservation success story. They bounced back from a terrifyingly low 417 breeding pairs back in 1963 to over 250,000 birds today. However, others are in really deep trouble. Take the towering Philippine eagle. It stands about a meter tall and is critically endangered right now. Because of severe habitat loss, there are literally fewer than 400 breeding pairs left in the wild. Which brings us to Section 4, Building the Dynasty. Because an empire is really nothing without its legacy. So most eagles actually mate for life. And rather than going through the hassle of building a brand new home every single season, they just return to renovate the exact same nests year after year. These nests are called eyries. Both parents take turns keeping the eggs warm, protecting the chicks, and just fiercely defending their territory from anybody who gets too close. And because they're constantly adding new branches and material to these eyries every single year, they become these absolute monumental structures over time. Check out this stat. One famous bald eagle nest down in St. Petersburg, Florida, was recorded at 10 feet wide, 20 feet deep, and weighed nearly 3 tons. 3 tons! It is the heaviest recorded bird nest in the entire world. Talk about dedication to building a lasting dynasty, right? And finally, Section 5, Frequently Asked Eagle Questions. Like I promised, let's wrap up this explainer by tackling 4 of the most fascinating questions straight from our source material. Question number 1, and honestly, it's a classic. Are these iconic birds actually missing their feathers up top? Are they really bald? The answer is a hard no. As you can tell just by looking at them, they've got a full, glorious head of bright white feathers. The name is literally just a linguistic leftover. It comes from an Old English word, bald, which simply translated to white-headed. Question 2. Why in the world do we humans insist on putting these giant flying predators on our currency, our military insignia, and our national flags all over the globe? Well, ever since ancient Rome, humans have used them to symbolize power, strength, freedom, and vision. You'll find them on the flags and coins of Mexico, Egypt, Germany, the Philippines, you name it. But here is a brilliantly funny historical fact. Benjamin Franklin actually hated the idea of using the bald eagle as the U.S. national symbol. He argued that the eagle's habit of stealing food from other birds, a little move called kleptoparasitism, gave it a terrible moral character. Believe it or not, he actually preferred the wild turkey. Okay, question 3. Is the rumor about their intense romantic loyalty actually true? Do they mate for life? Yeah, for the most part, they are incredibly monogamous. And to court their lifelong partners, they perform these absolutely mind-blowing aerial acrobatics. They'll fly way, way up into the sky, literally lock their talons together, and cartwheel downwards in this thrilling freefall, only letting go at the very last possible second before hitting the ground. I mean, talk about the ultimate trust fall. And our final question for today: how on earth does an apex predator safely get some shut-eye without losing their edge in the wild? They use this crazy biological trick called unilateral sleep. That means they literally keep half of their brain completely awake and one eye entirely open to watch for threats, while the other half of their brain gets some well-deserved rest. It's just an unbelievable adaptation. From sharing airspace with commercial jets at 35,000 feet to dissolving bones with stomach acid, eagles are without question the true apex of the skies. But with populations recovering in some areas while facing massive new threats like habitat loss and power line collisions in others, I want to leave you with this final thought. With their undeniable superpowers and their immense cultural significance across the globe, what steps will you take to learn more and ensure these rulers of the skies continue to thrive? Thank you so much for exploring the empire of eagles with me today. I'll catch you next time.